Hey, what's
Hello people, Kabasa Warrior. Welcome back to part 2. We're at the same spot. Today we're going to be finishing the video. Apparently I have an ad in 5 seconds. Probably should have watched that, before the video. It's too late. I'm here. Let's watch the video.
Did you know you can change your voice in real time?
I did not know that.
You can have the voice you choose.
Oh my god. Alright, it's gone. Alright, let's get into this. For those who have not seen part 1, card, right there. I did it right this time. Card, part 1. Go watch it. Alright.
One night, while walking home, it started raining. Just what I needed. I thought to myself. I had no umbrella and I was in the middle of a road that crosses a forest. With no place to cover,
where do you live?
I decided to keep walking and wait for a car to pass. And maybe...
I just noticed, guys. I'm sorry. We will rewind.
Raining.
You guys didn't miss much.
I thought to myself. I had no umbrella and I was in the middle of a road that crosses a forest.
That would have been a terrible video.
No place to cover. I decided to keep walking and wait for a car to pass. And maybe hitchhike. Around 10 minutes later, I started listening to a car approaching from behind. I looked back and the car stopped by my side. Slowly, the car window opens, and I could see a man outside. It was dark.
I'm gone. Look, guys, I'm part of the scary story.
The man asked,
"Rah!"
"You ride, son?" I told him yes, please, because there's no way I was going to keep walking in this rain. This guy.
Oh hell no! Looks like a fucking ex-meth addict, bro.
With a wrinkly face.
Who's looking for a fix?
He didn't look dangerous at all. He actually seemed nice.
Everybody, give me 30 seconds. I would edit that out, but I'm gonna be honest, I would not remember. Alright, we have lighting.
We did some small talk until I was reaching my destination.
I'll try and block the fucking
guy to drop me here
bright as hell part though.
The rain has stopped by now. The guy said nothing, so I repeated again. You can drop me here. He said, no, not yet. You're not ready.
Was that even, what am I not ready for, bro?
I'm not ready for what?
Yeah.
I was getting nervous, so I tried one more time. Please, sir, let me out here. He looks at me with his eyes wide open. Now I can see his face. The guy looked old and his face was wrinkled.
I'm setting the camera for everybody.
I said no. I felt sick and I thought I was going to throw up. I was stuck there with that guy. I thought my only way out would be to open the door. I tried opening the door, but it was locked and I am in full panic.
Duh.
I feel
a car
going through my body as I feel myself pass out. Finally, my eyes close and everything goes black.
What?
I woke up in the bed. I look around and it looks like a shack. The place looks trashed and smells terrible. At the side of the bed, I see some basic medical equipment.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Outside near the door. Without having a lot of time, I pretend I am still knocked out and I wait. I don't keep my eyes shut. I leave a small opening. I wanted to see who was coming. The door opens. I see someone. I keep opening and closing my eyes very little to make sure he doesn't see I'm watching him. He reaches my side of the bed. He turns to the other side and starts picking up the medical tools.
Fucking rah! I'm fucking jump at that dude.
With very little time to make a decision, I needed to do something quick.
Yeah.
What will happen.
Kill him.
I gained courage and I slowly get up. I started running to the door.
What?
While I was reaching to the door, I took a glimpse on the right, and there was an open door. Inside is an image that I would never forget. I saw a body of some random person, and I wanted to throw up, but right now, I needed to escape. I opened the door and I ran through the woods. It was very dark. I couldn't see where I was going, but I didn't care. I just needed to be far away from that place. Finally, I arrived at the main road and I kept running. I found an open diner. I went inside and used their phone to call the cops. I gave the police a report of what happened. Then they took me safely home. A few months later, I saw on TV that the fugitive from an asylum was caught. He was living in a cabin in the woods. It was the same guy that kidnapped me. Suddenly, I had the same feeling from that night. But at least the guy had been caught. Never again in my life have I hitchhiked.
Good. Never hit. Why do people need to be told this? Don't get in strangers' cars.
I'm
The
22
SUV
now,
creep. Oh
but
god.
this happened when I was 16.
Also, don't let people in your cars if that's what this is. Are we just gonna reach the other end of the spectrum now?
At the time, I lived in Staten Island, New York.
Staten
For a little
Island.
background, I'm a female, and at the time,
You
I
don't
was
sound like it.
120 pounds soaking wet, with a height
Okay.
of 5'6".
5'6".
I
Okay.
thought I was invincible. I never imagined anything like this would have ever happened to me. It was March
She's doing her
17th
lipstick with a
of
pencil.
2013, around 10:30 p.m. I was leaving my boyfriend's house. He walked me to the
Okay.
local bus stop as he always did. We joked and laughed while we waited for my bus to show up. Because it was kind of late, there weren't many cars on the street. I happened to notice a black SUV parked across the road. I didn't think much of it at the time.
Yeah.
My bus eventually
shouldn't.
showed up, and I
Just a
said
car.
goodbye to my boyfriend, and I boarded. I took a seat next to the bus driver. The rest of the bus was completely empty.
Can't do that
The
now.
driver turned to me once we hit the first red light, and then he asked,
I know
"What
it's
are
not
you doing
funny.
out this late?" It was random and a bit creepy.
That's
I
not
replied
creepy.
with, "I was just hanging out with my boyfriend." We made small talk.
What bus is that echoey? None of them. None of them are that echoey. No, that's not creepy. You sat right next to him. He's gonna talk to you. Otherwise, it's just weird.
And my initial apprehension was put at ease. The driver then told me that it wasn't exactly safe to be out and about at this hour, and that I should be more careful. I nodded, but as I said before, I was an arrogant 16-year-old who thought she was invincible. As my stop approached, I looked at my phone. The time read 11:30 p.m. My phone's battery was down to 5%.
Okay.
Oh, that's great, I thought to myself as I exited the bus and said my goodbyes to the driver. He told me to stay safe, and I gave him another nod as the door folded back shut. For some reason, I just stood there and watched the bus make its way down the street until its taillights were well out of sight. As I stood there at the
That's a
empty
really
stop,
weird thing to
a
do.
sensation of what I can only describe as impending doom came over me.
Oh god.
I made my way to the bench to sit down. The bus that dropped me off near my house was scheduled to arrive at 11:40. Only 10 minutes. As I sat there staring off into space, thinking about some things I had to do when I got home, a black SUV pulls up to the bus stop. The uneasy feeling I had earlier intensified. But I did my best to play it cool. The man rolls down his window and asks me, "Hey, excuse me, do you know what time the bus is supposed to be here?" He appeared to be a mix between Spanish and Asian.
Okay.
It had a
His
name,
race
though.
does not matter.
At this point, I did not make the connection that this may have been the same vehicle I saw just before I boarded the first bus. I figured that he was probably just waiting for somebody. So I replied,
I suppose
"It
that
shouldn't
could be
be
it.
long." He then asked me how long I had been waiting. It was then that I started to get a little freaked out. This guy was giving me the creeps. But I considered that I might be just overreacting. Perhaps he was just trying to pass the time. But still, I kept my guard up. I answered that I hadn't been waiting long. He then proceeded to try to make more small talk. I was trying to be polite. But I
Yeah.
also kept looking at my pitch-black phone screen, trying to subtly hint to him that I wasn't interested in conversation. It was dark out by this point. The only luminescence was coming from some distant streetlights. However,
Okay.
there were also two big trees outside the bus stop that were positioned in such a way that they blocked out most of the light. So if this guy tried anything, the dark would have provided decent cover.
Yeah, but not for your
I
screams.
nervously clenched my phone, the uncomfortable feeling inside increasing with every passing second. He then told me that he was new to the area and didn't know his way around too well. He claimed that he was in the army and was stationed nearby. He then asked me where the beach was. "It's just down the street."
Wouldn't you know?
I told him in a very matter-of-fact way, as if to convey, maybe you should go there so I don't have to look at you anymore.
Okay, that's
It
a
was
bit.
then that our eyes met.
That's a bit rude.
I could see his face very clearly. His eyes were not like any normal human's eyes. It
What
was
does
as
that
if they
mean?
were looking right through me, staring at me like a hungry fox who just discovered a trapped, defenseless rabbit. He then asked me, "Do you mind if you show me around? Come on, get in the car for a little while." I may
Now
have been
it's
a
creepy.
naive 16-year-old, but I was not an idiot. I knew that if I got in that car, that would be the last time anyone ever heard from me. I was trying my best to show him that I wasn't afraid, so I politely declined while looking down the street for my bus. He then began to beg and plead. It was really kind of pathetic. I told him no once again. He then said something that I will never forget. "Come on, baby. It won't take long. I promise." At that moment, my blood ran cold, and my stomach felt like it was going to drop right out of my ass. I felt absolutely sick, like I was going to throw up. But I kept my cool, and thankfully my bus was now in sight and coming down the street. A feeling of relief washed over me. I told him no once again, thinking that would be the end of it. He then told me that he would drive me home right afterward. This guy would not give up, and I finally had enough. With all the strength and courage in me, I shouted, "No, leave me the hell alone, you fucking loser!" As my bus pulled up, I heard him say something genuinely terrifying. And I quote, "Fine, bitch, I'll just follow you and see where you live." My heart started to race. My hands broke out in a cold sweat, and my body began to tremble with fear. I quickly got on the bus, and honestly, I don't know why I didn't tell the bus driver. I think I was just in a state of shock, and was hoping that Mr.
So you remember the license plate number. This is what you do if this ever happens to you. Remember the license plate number. Go home. Don't matter if he knows where you live. It does not matter because you just call the police. That vehicle is his vehicle. So get him arrested.
Jailbait hunter in the SUV didn't mean what he said, and that he was just pissed off and trying to scare me. When I sat down and looked out of the window, I saw the headlights of the SUV. They were tailing the bus. I thought I was going to have a mental breakdown. When the bus arrived at my stop, I ran like hell. I reached the front door of my house, which was usually unlocked, but tonight, of all nights, it was locked from top to bottom. I frantically rang the doorbell while going through my bag to find my keys. I then heard someone pull up out front. Without turning around, I knew who it was. Just like in the movies, I dropped the keys as I was trying to put them in the front door. I finally managed to unlock my front door. Before turning the handle, I heard a car door slam shut from behind me. I quickly ran inside and slammed the door shut. In a panic, I explained to my mother and my older brother what happened. My brother ran outside and looked up and down the street. I was shaking, absolutely consumed by terror. My emotions finally got the best of me, and I could no longer hold back my tears. We called the police, and they came and searched the area. They asked me if I had gotten a tag number.
Should've.
And unfortunately, I had to tell the officers that it was too dark to see. But I did notice a sticker of some sort of bird on the backseat driver's side window. It didn't dawn on me until they left that this had been the same SUV that was across the street when I was with my boyfriend an hour prior. They told me that they checked the army base nearby and the surrounding area, but nobody had seen any vehicle matching the description I gave. All I could think about was what the bus driver had said to me and the irony of what took place that same night.
Yeah.
Years went by, and I didn't think much about this incident after that night. One day, I was scrolling through Facebook when I came across a picture my friend had posted. It was a story of a man who had been following her home from work for the past 3 days.
In a car sometimes.
And it was the same guy who I encountered 5 years prior. My heart felt like it was going to leap out of my throat. Looking at the post, I noticed that several other women had come forward, and they all shared similar experiences to mine. I ended up finding out that he almost kidnapped a 13-year-old girl. She allowed herself to be lured into his car, but once inside, she noticed a roll of duct tape, some rope, a pair of gloves, and a bottle of what turned out to be chloroform on the floorboard. She ended up jumping out of the window while they were stopped at a red light.
Good.
I don't know all the details, but apparently he got physical with another woman who was pregnant and tried to force her into his car. He got pretty ballsy and started trying to abduct women in broad daylight. The news found out that his name was Leo, and it was also discovered that he had a wife and 2 daughters who were around 3 and 5. They interviewed his neighbors, and to my surprise they defended him, saying that all these women were just lying. It's truly unbelievable how stupid people are. 5 separate accounts from 5 different women who have no connection with each other have come forward and shared their experiences. Could you please dislodge your head from your ass and face up to the facts? Anyway, to this day, I have no idea whatever became of him. The last I heard, he was still at large. I hope they caught him, so no other young women have to be subjected to this monster ever again.
What a terrible way to try and handle that situation. Oh, we're at the end of the video. We're at the end of the video? Goddamn. Alright, well, thank you guys for watching part 2. If you haven't already seen part 1, go give it a watch. You know, you could just watch it again if you want. It's a good video, I would say. The link to the original video and the link to the original creator of the video will be down in the description. I really like the animations for this. It was really good. So please like, subscribe, leave a comment. Let me know what else you want me to watch, and peace.